Hello, and thank you so much for tuning in to this video. My name is Jada Brown, and I am a real estate agent and property manager in Baltimore, Maryland. And in this video, I want to talk with property owners, landlords, and property managers about the importance of working with licensed contractors. Now, I know many of us, and I am guilty of this as well, of using what they call shade tree handyman, right? And what that is an unlicensed handyman or an unlicensed contractor who can do all of the work that a licensed contractor can, but the difference is they are not licensed. But they are typically cheaper because they don't have a lot of the overhead that a licensed contractor does. So as an investor and property manager and owner, a lot of the times you are looking at ways that you can be cost efficient and save money, and so you may hire an unlicensed contractor to do the work in your property because you know that they have the skills and experience, but they are significantly cheaper. And I want to warn you all not to do this. I want to really emphasize that you should work with a licensed contractor, and in the state of Maryland, that person would have an MHIC license or as a Maryland home improvement contractor. And there are many reasons why. So let's go through them. First of all, it's the law. So in Maryland, it is illegal for a contractor to perform home improvement work without an MHIC license. And there is a broad range of the work that can be performed with the MHIC license. There's not much that you can do in home improvement, remodeling, general maintenance that doesn't require an MHIC license. And the next thing is it avoids legal trouble. So if you hire a contractor and they're not licensed and you're the owner, you cannot tell them that they don't need the license because you're the owner. It doesn't matter. It's the law, and that law, prevails over you and that contractor's agreement. Now, one thing that is very important with hiring an MHIC contractor is that there is a guarantee fund. And that is one of the most significant benefits because it offers you protection as the person going into the contract with them. And this fund is supported by licensed contractors and can compensate property owners for financial losses up to $30,000 caused by a licensed contractor's poor workmanship, incomplete work, or contract abandonment. So that's a significant legal protection for the property owner, because if someone says, okay, I am going to do this job for $20,000 and they started and never finished, you can go to the Maryland Guarantee Fund, put in your claim, and possibly be reimbursed for the loss that you suffered because of this contractor's, abandonment and negligence. And you do not have that recourse with unlicensed contractors, because if you hire an unlicensed contractor and they do a bad job or they disappear, you have no access to the guarantee fund because that person is not registered. So you are left as the owner to cover the cost of repairs or completion, which can be a significant financial burden. Another thing that is paramount about working with the licensed contractor is that they are required to have insurance coverage. So when they apply for their license and they have it renewed, they are required to have at least $50,000 of insurance, general liability insurance coverage. So And if they're doing mold remediation, I believe it's $1 million insurance policy that they must have. So if something happens on your job, like a accident, property damage, or injuries that occurs while they're working on your property, you know that an uninsured, unlicensed contractor could potentially leave you on the hook for those costs, right? And then there's also the work that someone has to do to become an MHIC. So you know that these are vetted professionals because they must meet specific requirements, pass an exam that demonstrates their knowledge of, you know, project management, business, the laws. They have to have financial solvency, and if they do not meet the net worth criteria by the state of Maryland, then they have to buy a bond. And they also have to show that they have at least 2 years of relative experience. So this makes sure that they have the skills, knowledge, and experience to be a contractor. They have to adhere to codes. They know about building codes and safety regulations, and this ensures that the work is done to a high level. And then they have to have proper documentation in contracts. There's a lot of laws that contractors have to follow in terms of the language in your contract and what they can and can't put in there. It has to be written and transparent, and it has to outline the scope of work, the materials, payment terms, timelines. They can't charge you more than a third of the full contract amount for the deposit. And then there's also mediation services and a formal complaint process if you have an issue with that contractor. So to sum it all up, it is very important for a property manager, landlord, property owner to hire an MHIC contractor when needing work done on your property. And it helps because it shows that they're committed to professionalism, to legal compliance, and to quality. They have a lot of eyes that are watching them to ensure that they are not doing a shoddy job. So it's a vital layer of protection for your investment, for your tenants, and for your business. And if you need assistance with any real estate or property management services in Baltimore, Maryland, please give me a call. My number is 571-259-3588. You can also text me or email me at jada.brown@kw.com. Thank you so much for watching this video, and please make sure to subscribe.